You think your bones are breaking down because of your age, but the truth is, they've simply stopped getting signals. And what if just 5 minutes a day could turn the tide? No machines, no gym, just gentle motion, and a body that remembers how to rebuild itself. Because bones aren't static, they're always listening, and with the right rhythm, they begin to grow strong again. Most seniors don't realize their bones are still alive, constantly reshaping based on how we move, or don't. But when we stop sending motion signals, bones quietly begin to dissolve. The first sign, a subtle wobble, the fear of stairs, a reflection that looks smaller than you remember. But you're not fragile, you're disconnected. Today we rebuild the bridge, from body to balance to belief. 1. Why bones break? Without warning. You might imagine bone loss feels like something, like an ache or a snap or a sudden moment of weakness, but that's the danger. It doesn't. Most seniors don't know their bones are thinning until a fracture delivers the news, not through pain, but through interruption. The interruption of balance, of independence, of trust in your own steps. You see, bone loss doesn't start in the hip. It starts in the habits we don't notice. We sit a little longer, walk a little shorter, skip the stairs, until one day a step feels too tall or a curb feels unsafe. And quietly, our skeleton, the frame that's carried us for decades, starts getting quieter too. But here's what most people never hear from their doctors. Bones are not dead. They're alive, dynamic, constantly in conversation with how we live. Every step you take sends a signal to your skeleton. Keep going. Stay strong. Rebuild. But when those signals stop, when stillness becomes our norm, your bones interpret it as silence. And silence biologically means deterioration. There's a process happening inside your bones right now. Two teams are at work. Osteoclasts, clearing out old bone tissue like janitors. Osteoblasts, rebuilding stronger, denser bone in its place. Think of it like a remodeling crew. One breaks down old walls, the other rebuilds from the blueprint. But if the blueprint, the movement, is missing, nothing gets built. This remodeling never stops. Even at 60, even at 80, even at 90. But the builders only show up when they're needed. That's the real reason bones break out of nowhere. Not because they aged, because they were no longer getting messages to grow. It's like a garden that wasn't watered, not because the soil turned bad, but because we forgot it still mattered. And when you remember that, when you really let that in, it changes how you see your body. Because what seems like decline may actually just be disconnection. So the question becomes, what kind of message are your bones receiving today? Because they are listening. 2. Your bones are still listening. Most people think bones are like stone, hard, fixed, slowly eroding over time. But that's not true. Not biologically, not emotionally, not at all. Bones are more like soil. They adapt to what's planted, what's pressed into them, and how they're nourished. Inside every bone are microscopic sensors, cells that detect pressure, direction, even rhythm. They're called osteocytes, and they're constantly asking, am I still needed? And when you walk, lift, twist, or even gently shift your weight from one foot to the other, those osteocytes send signals to start building. They call on osteoblasts to lay down new tissue, to fortify the internal scaffolding, to strengthen what was once soft or thinning. In other words, your bones are listening. Even now, even if it's been decades since you moved with purpose. That's the miracle of bone biology. It's not about how old you are. It's about whether you're still giving your bones a reason to adapt. There's a study from Harvard Medical School, 2020, that tracked seniors aged 67 to 84. They found that low-impact movement, just 10 minutes per day, led to measurable increases in bone density over 12 weeks. No machines, no medications, just signals, motion, input. The bones responded. And not just in the hip or spine. Even the wrists, ankles, and ribs showed microdensity improvements, because the body doesn't forget how to heal. It only needs to be reminded. One of my patients, Rosa, once told me, I thought I was shrinking because of age, but really, I was just fading from my body. That hit me, because for many people, aging isn't about becoming weak. It's about losing the sense of physical presence, the feedback loop that says you are still here and your structure still matters. So, here's something simple to try. Before you sit down in a chair, pause. Feel your feet. Shift slightly forward, then back. Let your knees bend, your spine align, your core engage, then sit. You just turned a passive moment into a signal, a whisper to your bones. Stay active. I still need you. And the beauty of this? The body listens. 3. The 5-minute rebuild ritual. This is the part most people miss. They believe that to strengthen bones, they need machines, heavy weights, or complex routines. But the truth is, your body already knows what to do. It just needs a rhythm to remember. That's why I teach what I call the 5-minute rebuild ritual. No equipment, no floor work, just you, your breath, your awareness, and gravity, the most honest weight there is. Start with the wall posture reset stand. With your back against a wall, let your heels, hips, shoulder blades, and the back of your head touch it, if they can. Don't force it, just feel it. Now breathe. Notice where you're tight, where you're tilted, and imagine stacking your body like blocks of wood, one vertebra at a time. This isn't about being perfect. It's about reconnecting with your vertical line, the one your bones are built around. Then, toe lifts. Still standing, shift your weight slightly into your heels. Now, lift your toes, hold for 3 seconds, and lower. Repeat this 10 times. This simple move activates the front shin muscles and rebalances your center of mass. It teaches the body to anticipate forward motion, so it doesn't freeze or fall. Finally, weight shift and breath loop. Place your hands gently on your hips. Now, shift your weight slowly to 1 foot, just enough to feel the pressure change. Inhale, exhale, shift to the other side. This activates your balance sensors, the proprioceptors in your feet, ankles, and hips. Over time, they send stronger signals up the kinetic chain, telling your spine, your pelvis, and yes, your bones, that they are still in use. A 2019 NIH clinical trial found that seniors who performed balance-based micro-movements like these had 15% fewer falls and 8% greater bone density gains in 90 days. And the average session? Just 5 minutes a day. It's not about intensity, it's about consistency. Because your skeleton isn't asking for effort, it's asking for input. Rosa once said, "I thought I needed to exercise harder, but what I really needed was to feel safe enough to begin." So if you've been waiting, this is your start. You can do it right now. No equipment, no prep, just stand, breathe, shift, and let your body remember. When was the last time you truly noticed your balance? Not your strength, just your stillness. Tell me in the comments, because noticing is where the healing begins. 4. Rosa's return to confidence. Rosa was 72 when she came to see me. She didn't come in because of pain. She came in because of fear, not the kind you speak aloud, but the quiet kind that creeps in, when something simple starts to feel uncertain. For Rosa, it was curbs. She'd stopped walking her favorite route to the market, not because she couldn't walk far, but because stepping off the sidewalk felt unstable. "I used to love feeling the sun on my back," she told me, "but now I just worry I won't catch myself if I misstep." There hadn't been a fall, no injury, just hesitation. And like so many others, she thought it meant she was getting fragile. But what Rosa didn't know, what most people don't know, is that bones respond to attention long before they respond to medication. So we began small, the same 5-minute ritual you've just learned. Wall resets, toe lifts, breath and weight shifting. 5 minutes a day. No exceptions, no pressure, just rhythm. At first, Rosa felt silly. "It doesn't even feel like exercise," she laughed. And she was right, because it wasn't about sweating. It was about remembering how to stand tall, how to feel her feet, how to send signals again. Within 2 weeks, she noticed something. She stopped holding onto furniture as she moved through her home. She stood straighter when brushing her teeth. By week 5, she was taking the long route again, past the bakery, over the curb, through the sunlit square. "I feel like I grew," she told me. And in a way, she did. Not in height, but in belief, in balance, in quiet confidence. That's what most people don't realize about bone strength. It's not just about density, it's about dignity. Because when you trust your structure again, your entire world becomes more reachable. And Rosa, she didn't just return to walking, she returned to herself. 5. The vitamin duo. That makes it stick. Movement sends the signal, but nutrition locks it in. Because even when your bones are ready to respond, they still need the raw materials to rebuild. And this is where most seniors unknowingly slow their progress. They move, but their body doesn't have the tools to respond fully. Let's change that. There are 2 vitamins, just 2, that act like a construction crew for your bones. They don't just support bone health, they direct it. Vitamin D3. This is your bone's spotlight. It helps your intestines absorb calcium from food and shuttles it into your bloodstream. Without it, most of the calcium you eat is simply wasted. But here's where many people stop. They take D3, maybe even drink milk, and assume they're covered. That's only half the story. Vitamin K2. This is your bone's traffic controller. Once calcium is in your blood, K2 tells it where to go, specifically into your bones and teeth. Without K2, calcium can deposit in soft tissues, like arteries. That's not just ineffective, it's dangerous. The 2 must work together. D3 gets calcium in. K2 makes sure it gets home. A clinical review in the British Journal of Nutrition, 2017, found that seniors taking a D3 plus K2 combination experienced fewer bone fractures, improved bone mineral density, and less arterial calcification, a major cardiovascular risk. So, how do you take them? Dosage: D3, 1,000 to 2,000 IU per day, taken with fat for absorption. K2, 90 to 120 micrograms per day. Look for the MK7 form. When? Right after breakfast is ideal, when your digestive system is most active and dietary fat is present. How long? This is a medium to long-term support strategy. Most seniors feel energy shifts and better joint mobility within 2 to 3 weeks. Bone mineralization takes 60 to 90 days. Bonus tip: track changes in posture or stiffness, not just numbers. When Rosa added this combo, she said her morning creaks felt quieter, almost like my body was working in the background again. And that's the beauty of it. With movement plus the right nutrients, your body becomes its own repair team. The question is never, can I rebuild? It's, am I giving my body what it needs to say yes? Sometimes the body forgets, but not in the way we fear, not because of age, but because it's been waiting too long without a signal. You see, your bones aren't just support beams, they're witnesses to every step you've taken. Every time you carried someone else when you barely had the strength, every stumble you caught yourself from, and every quiet decision to rise again. And now, they are waiting for the next message, not from a supplement bottle, not from a test result, but from you, from a moment of stillness, a shift in weight, a breath taken with intention. Your bones are not forgetting, they are listening, and with every toe lift, every wall alignment, every quiet practice, they are hearing the words, I'm still here, and I still need you. It's never been about reversing age, it's about restoring presence, and choosing to live as if your body still matters, because it does. You don't have to do this loudly, you don't have to be perfect, you just have to begin the conversation again, and your bones will answer.